go to questions. Travis, you probably got one.
Coach, what was the difference between first half and second half, and especially on the defensive end?
As simply as I can say, we got consecutive stops and finished those stops with a rebound. In the first 10 minutes of the game, we had 0 turkeys, 3 stops in a row. And over the last 30 minutes of the game, we had nine turkeys. Mathematically, that's very impressive. That means that in the slowest game that we've played since I've lived here, 59 possession game, that over the last 30 minutes, 9 different times we got 3 stops in a row. We got 6 of those in the second half, which is why they scored 6 baskets. Very difficult team to play. In their guarantee games thus far this season, 0, 3, and 4 have shot 73% of their balls. And tonight they shot 53 of the 60 balls. They make hard contested wood twos. They make hard contested threes. And they want to win time of possession. They're going to shoot those balls, most of those balls in the last 10 seconds of the clock. And then they're going to have some level of zone pressure in the front court, some level of zone pressure in the back court, somewhat to keep you out of sync, but mostly to win time of possessions to shorten the game. I think that's why they beat TCU. I think that's why it was the game that it was. I think it was a 10-point game, 58-48 last Tuesday at Baylor. But I think the difference is we got stops, and we shrunk the rotation with guys that could get stops and finish with the rebound. And then we did a really good job of putting pressure on the rim. 21 made free throws, really, really good. And so I know you already knew all of that, but that was the difference.
When you talk about how much they shortened the game, getting value for possession, hitting those free throws and getting them.
Well, that's the one thing that we talked about in the preparation. Our staff did a great job preparing the team. The team completely knew what the game was going to be, but it is a very unique game, and it's almost the polar opposite of the Wofford game, but the pace of the game is the same. And so it's just ISO ball, and that guy at the top is going to shoot that ball with less than 10 seconds. There's a few things that are lipstick on the pig before that, but it's just to get the matchup they want, and that guy's going to shoot. The whole team knows who's going to shoot, and then you have to finish with a rebound because everybody knows who's shooting, and everybody knows who's going to rebound. There's no confusion. They're not wondering, is Travis going to shoot it or is Olin going to shoot it? Travis is shooting it, and Olin, you go get it if you want to shoot it. Those other 3 shots came off offensive rebounds. That's it. So I think that's why they've been very successful thus far.
Was how much you had a lot of success in the paint. How much of it was a factor of the big kid getting in foul trouble?
I thought he was very effective when he was in the game. It was our best in a long time percentage at the rim. We shot 64% at the rim. 51% of our shots were at the rim. Statistically speaking, everybody was dramatically improved except Dex. Dex was 1 of 5 at the rim, but the rest of those guys, Boots was 7 of 7. Henry was 7 of 9. The 2 he missed was on 32. 4 was 0 of 1. Andy was 0 of 2, but we were 16 of 25 at the rim. So it still needs to be better, but it was dramatically improved. And then obviously we shot a bunch of free throws, so that helped us.
Andy hasn't been necessarily the guy in the rotation to come bring the energy, but I kind of felt like during the first half when he came in, his stat line might not be impressive, but it seemed like he was able to kind of impact the game.
That was one thing that we were just talking about on radio. Like when you look at his box score, it's not appealing. but his plus minus is always good. And the numbers that that I study, like if you just look at the box score, you're like, he's not impacting the game. But if you look at his leverage on both sides of the floor for us, he's always a positive. And I thought him coming in and Dre coming in the first half specifically over that last 8-ish, 9-ish minutes, I thought they were huge. I thought Solo played really well. I thought when Solo and Andy played together in the second half for that mini stretch, I thought they were very effective. They matched down low to match up with those guys. I thought Henry played really well. I thought Boots was superb. And I thought Dexter guarded whoever was going to be in the ISO ball for 33 minutes and 54 seconds. Pretty impressive. To guard the guy that's going to shoot and get 6 defensive rebounds and lead the team from a defensive rebound perspective, along with Boots, really, really good. It wasn't fun to be a part of because it was such a grind, but in many respects, the last 30 minutes, there were a lot of toxins flushed out and a lot of sensitivity flushed out because everybody realized that's what you have to do in order to win this game. And some of the inconsistency that we've been arguing about and struggling to find, some of that consistency came out. Hey, if you're out there, that's what you got to do. And if you can't do that, you're not going to be able to play. And we have to have some level of identity of we're going to do our best to only give you one shot. And that shot that you take, we're going to defend you without fouling. And that shot's going to be contested. And then we're all going to go to the rim and try to finish with a rebound. We had 30 defensive rebounds. That's I don't have my game charts with me. I think we were averaging 33.4 total rebounds. And tonight we get 45. A lot of that was they missed shots in the second half, but a lot of that was that's what we have to be about. That's what we have to be about.
I think they only made, if I got it right, 2 of their last 16 3-point shots.
Yeah, I think the last possession they had the ball, Olin, was our 9th turkey for the game. I think that's only happened one other time since I've been here that we had 9 turkeys. And I think they shot, 67% of their shots were from 3, and 3 guys shot 90% of their balls. That's a statistical anomaly. Like, even though you don't pay attention to it to that depth, you've never seen that game. You've never watched that game in your life statistically.
But I'm just curious. You see a team that's shooting so well, and then in the last, 8, 10, 12, whatever minutes, don't make 2
I think some of the changes that we made defensively in the front court changed their rhythm a little bit. And I also think that the 3 guys that shoot the most balls are also the 3 guys on their team that are going to dribble. And I think some of those dribbles were a little more contested in what we were doing defensively over the last 30 minutes. I'm not saying we got into their legs. They're really, really good players, and they're very potent offensively. But I do think that the fight prior to the shot affected the shot over the last 8 to 10 minutes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just how important was it tonight to get back in the win column, not only for morale, but then building momentum heading into conference?
We danced to Bruno Mars' Treasure because my son was teaching me that on the way to the game today, and we prayed. That was all that was said in post-game because we all needed to win. And I know this sounds like a coach. In some respects, we needed to win a game like that. We didn't need to win a blowout. We needed to win in the ways that we have lost. And the ways that we have lost have been when you have to get a stop, we haven't. When you have to get a rebound, we haven't. When you have to make a layup, we haven't. And so I think it was a great growth opportunity. And regardless of their age, I think they all realized over the last 30 minutes, even the guys that weren't playing, they all realized, like, yeah, it has to be this And I think when you're trying to search for an identity, it's just human nature to rebel, not disrespectfully, but almost internally. Like, are you sure it has to be this difficult, or is there an escape valve somewhere else? And can we just find the escape, and will that work? And we've tried subliminally those escapes. You can't do that, not here, or not at this level. And I actually think that regardless of who we play, these numbers that we're talking about, I think that's what determines winning and losing. How many shots are you going to give up at the rim? How many offensive rebounds are you going to give up? How many uncontested shots are you going to give up? And then on the other end, how much pressure are you going to put on the rim? Can you make a layup? And when we shoot it, can we get it back? Like, they shot more balls, but the reason they shot more balls is because we shot 27 free throws. And so I actually, I haven't studied Prairie View. I'll start after breakfast in the morning, but like, Prairie View beat Arizona State. I think in this new model of college athletics, that's why I'm so thankful the administrative group made the decision like they did last year in the game after Christmas. Like, I'll donate some of my salary. Let all of these people come, because I think it changes the ambiance, particularly when the students aren't here. But in the new model of college athletics, just because the name doesn't sound like they're good, that doesn't mean they're not good. Those 3 players were not at Northwestern State last year. Their net was 330 to end the season. But those 3 players came with the assistant coach who was hired as the head coach. Like, there's a lot of maneuverability in the new model. And so it's not really the name of the school. But I think what is happening, or I sense that is happening, because there's such volatility, what you got to figure out is, whoever your group is, how can you, as fast as you can, get them to play for the name on the front, and have the wisdom to understand that if the name on the front is doing good, the name on the back will end up being prosperous because of the name on the front. But you got to hurry up and figure that out. And a part of figuring that out is, hey, we need all of you guys to care about us as much as you care about yourself or your prior history to your arrival here. And then you have to do it the best you can with everybody pulling the rope in the same direction. And that's what had to happen over the last 30 minutes tonight.
All right.
That was a pretty good answer.
An under.